What up, you guys? It is Punksnugglybear back. I haven't been on for a while, but returning with another great classic game that I'm going to finish my playthrough on, which is Super Buster Bros. I'm playing this on the Super Nintendo. Like I said in my last video, really love this game for two reasons. One is that it's always been something that's always been super fun to me. I like these types of sort of so-called, I think of them as strategy games because you have to be like on point. You have to not trap yourself in, and it also provides more difficulty. Definitely allows you to choose like there's I think 6 difficulties in this game if I remember correctly, so it's like it's nice to have that different level of challenge. Plus also having some of the like more OP weapons in the game. Like right now I have the laser gun, which will zap pretty much any size in like a matter of seconds. But this game reminds me of the community college that I went to because at one point they did have this as the standalone arcade cabinet of Bang, and I really just like gravitated to it. It's fun. It definitely feels a little bit weird going from controller or going from joystick to controller. That was one of the things that I definitely did miss about arcade cabinets, is that the feel of it definitely makes the game feel completely different when you're playing it using both of your hands in, I think, a more engaged way, because on a arcade cabinet you're definitely putting your hands more flat versus having the curled up hand motions of using a controller. But this game has also inspired me to want to build a Raspberry Pi or a Retro Pi cabinet, and I think that's probably going to be one of my next big projects that I take on, is creating an arcade cabinet and putting a lot of like these types of games, a lot of like Neo Geo games, though, like Metal Slug and like the soccer, and just the bowling, like the just good arcade classics in my opinion, like games that feel right being played on an arcade cabinet. I definitely want to then make sure that I build not only the cabinet but the sticks as well. So I'm looking into hopefully getting a set of just how with the buttons and the joystick and everything, and building it at home, because I think that would be something that would be really cool. And it's funny because it just makes me think of like there are so many different platforms for video games to be enjoyed on, and I don't think I've ever like really categorized myself as like a serious gamer or whatnot, but I think I'm more so a casual gamer in the sense that I think video games can be played on pretty much anything, mobile phone to like console to PC to arcade cabinet. I think there's just so many realms of possibilities for video games to be played that I think majority of them should be explored. Figure out what works best for you. Like I know people who play only not Flappy Bird, but what is it? Angry Birds. And it's like that is a game. Even as simple as it seems, it is a game, and I will like everybody should have the right to enjoy that game. And then, of course, with the ports that it got to consoles and like more in-depth versions, it sort of solidified itself. But I think mobile gaming was always a staple. I remember Nokia releasing a phone back when flip phones were still a thing, and it had the screen for gaming. So there has been always this, I think, hole in, I would say, gaming, where it was like uh, mobile gaming really took its place. I think mobile gaming is something that really introduced a lot more people to enjoying games. We all had that moment, especially when Facebook had Candy Crush and like Words Against Friends. It's like it's taking popular ideas of old games such as like Scrabble and Pictionary and making them new and relevant again. But I think that is a great way of interaction with games in a society. Uh, but like I said, it all just depends on what you really enjoyed. Like, I enjoy, uh, I like arcade cabinets. I like fighting games, especially playing with an arcade stick. Playing it with a controller just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not good with it. I feel the full hand motion makes more sense of doing a half circle punch to throw Hadouken on a controller using my full arm, the full motion, because it feels more smooth than using my thumbs to do that same action. One of the game that I recently was playing again that really I feel that mastered uh, controller work with thumb work is Skate. I've always been a big fan of Skate. I love Skate 1, 2, and 3. And their innovation into the gaming market of making the right stick control the board is something that I think just naturally feels good. As you can see right here, I'm not naturally good at video games as I missed up like 16 shots right there. But it it allowed you to use the right stick outside of conventional ways such as aiming in a shooter or anything like that and really explore what you could do. Now, once again, I even have to, most of the time when playing that game, literally like think of what I wanted to do on the right stick and then say it out loud. Like, if I need to land a 360 flip or I need to do a laser flip, I need to know that it's like, okay, I have to go halfway to the right, down, flick to the left. And would say I haven't even mastered the controls of that game, even though I love it. But it's something that I feel is really smooth. So it's a good example of how a controller also affects the way that we play video games. Currently, with the Super Nintendo controller, it's the I like to think of it as a dog bone shape, even though there is the actual dog bone controller. Uh, it's smooth, it's rounded, it feels nice within the hands, but it's also a little bit weird because my memories of this game are on a cabinet. So for me, this game is always like, it feels a little bit more difficult, like definitely walking on ice and you just using your thumb to go left and right is something that feels like it didn't translate over so well when it got imported to a cartridge game versus the cabinet. Uh, but it doesn't take any points off of actual gameplay for this game. This game is still like super fun. I really enjoy every aspect of it. It's just something that I've noticed recently when I've went back and played games of how games feel like. And here's a perfect example of games that I think have changed over time and can be good on multiple platforms. Real-time strategy games. I've always been a big fan of StarCraft. I own StarCraft 2. I bought that. That was one of the games I actually went to midnight release to pick up one. And I love original StarCraft. I am no good I'm just not good by any means. Like, I think I'm bronze online, and Zerg rushes kill me all the time. But that game makes sense on mouse and keyboard. That game, the macros, the amount of phalanges that you have to be moving to nail things, just is like, oh yeah, that is a perfect example of how mouse and keyboard makes sense. Now, flash forward a few years from StarCraft and everything, and then we get Halo Wars, which was Halo's real-time strategy game on the Xbox. Man, I used to play that with my friends, and holy crap, it was one of the games that I was amazed how they took the feel of an RTS and translated it to a controller scheme, which felt comfortable, which felt that I could do micro and macro transitions and gameplay changes and everything like that. And it was something that just really made me enjoy games again. Like, I love when a game can take a mechanic that I know and repackage it and sell it to me in some different version. So taking a a solid concept that I know from PC gaming that I know and love, and re-imaging it on the controller is something that I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Like, who wouldn't want to play this? And then we have games such as Heroes of Might and Magic. I recently picked up Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the HD version, on PC, and I was replaying it. Of course, how to use cheat codes, because who doesn't love using cheat codes and getting all angels or all demons right off the bat? But it was something that I realized I've never played a game to my memory that is that same style outside of the PC realm. I've always really thought of that game is that it controls perfectly on the PC, and it's never been something that I've really thought about outside on like console or handheld or anything like that. I think it was a perfect example of how I can appreciate games for their skills and abilities to make me love a certain system to play it on. That's why it's like, if I try to play Mario using mouse and keyboard, I'd probably be like, this is wrong. Also, this level is just giving me one-ups left and right, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, but it's something that I've realized. It's like there are games that make you want to play it on the system, and it's like that's always something I think interesting. I think it's fun. I think it's what keeps gaming alive, is that you can always have something that is going to be different. So when people are like PC Master Race, it's like, yeah, there's things on PC that, like, yes, you can go out and you can buy a controller if you're playing a Steam game or something like that, and have that controller feel. Um, and so it's like, yeah, well, I can run 60 frames per second at an eye level that my eyes can't even comprehend, but it's gonna look so crisp. I'm gonna run Minecraft at 1080p. Just like, no, JK, 4K, and it's like, all right, that's all joking aside, but it's nice to have the ability to be like, you know what? I can play this type of game on this console and still have that same feeling of like, yes, this is a great game. I don't think that specifications, I've never been a person that's been hardcore into, oh, what specs are better, what's this or that. I loved anything. It's like when I do my PC build, because I do a lot of Steam gaming, is more so of what is the current setup that I need to run games decently. I am not somebody who's like, I need this, I need all of this, I need two Titans to run all my games at Christine speed. I'm just like, I need my games to someone look okay, have shadows sometimes, and be able to be like, alright, I know what game I'm playing, I know this is a good game. Using the little ladder to help me boost up there. I think I'm getting close. I think this is either the last level or the second to last level before I transition over into the new world. We'll see here. Second to last level. We got another bridge. Also, like sometimes it's weird. Some of the levels have a difficulty spike that seems like crazy difficult, and then some levels just seem like, oh, this is a lot simpler. Like the diagonal patterns, I really am not worried too much about. I'm more worried about getting hit by one of the little, what I would say, darker green colors, but did that perfectly. I think that's where I'm going to wrap up for this time. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like and subscribe. And until next time, you guys, have a good one.